We the people unite.
Hey.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
We the people unite.
You have the triple A's, and we're saying hello, hello, hello from various parts of the world, from Texas, Indiana,
Corner kids,
and also NYC. We're all here, and it is the triple A. We have Andrea, Anitra, and August live and well. So, guys, we're going to kick off today. It is 7:30 on the East Coast, and hopefully we have our friends already ready to hear what the show is, because it is crazy. It is. Do you think everyone's laughing at us? Let me ask Andrea. What's your thoughts?
You know, I have to laugh at us because we elected him. I didn't vote for him, but some of y'all did. And now you're afraid to tell anybody you voted for him. I'd be afraid too. He's crazy.
Hey, my beautiful people out there. Do you think the world is laughing at us? Clap back and let us know.
I think they laugh until they cry.
Okay, that's
They laughing to keep from crying.
Maybe they're laughing to keep from crying. Well, we know that we have a couple of our folks out there that are traveling, but it's good to see you, Connie. I have my 2-3 reporters out there, Jazzy Renee, and also Angry Army Vet, and Miss Connie stepping in and stepping up. Hey guys, okay, let's see what absolutely they're laughing at us. But guess what? It's not funny. And I'm going to tell you why it's not funny. I'm going to play you something that just to get it kicked off and get you guys started. I want you guys to weigh in and let us know, what do you think about this? Because stuff is serious.
With our food lately, like really different. You know, things don't break down like we think they should. They don't maybe get moldy. It's questionable where certain things come from. There's a lot of questions right now here in the US about our food system. Go ahead and check out some of these videos and let me know what your thoughts are.
Look at this. I'm not sure how much chicken you guys have prepared in the past, but how much of you all remember the chicken just kind of separating on its own, pulling it apart without any effort? Why?
Oh my goodness.
What is this part of the chicken, y'all?
It's not chicken. Good.
I know it's dinner time, but I'm sorry, guys.
Coming apart like this?
No.
This is coming right from the bag. This is their chicken, and you can see right out of the bag.
We might not never eat
out there, and it just comes apart.
Yeah.
I hate it, but I'm gonna eat it.
For the first time in modern history, college student graduates are more
Sorry about that, guys.
That's right, Jazzy.
Have you guys seen that story about Dave's Killer Bread? And that they found very high levels of glyphosate in their bread, particularly in their white bread done right.
Right,
I've been buying
done right.
Dave's Killer Bread, in particular, the white bread done right.
I
couldn't tell you how many years I've been buying that. Couldn't tell you. Many years. That is the only bread I ate. It's the bread I gave my son, because I thought I was doing something good. I was trying to be a smart consumer. I was in the fitness industry for a long time. Try to eat very healthy, try to do well for my son. Spent almost $7 on each loaf of that.
That's right.
Just to get poisoned with glyphosate.
Oh, I gotta tell my son.
Hate it here, guys. If that doesn't tell you, by the way, I've been making my own bread now. And the second I learned how to make bread, And I made a loaf and it was so much better than anything I've ever bought in the store. And I have never bought a loaf of bread since. That's what we need to be doing. It's so unfortunate. I know we're busy and we shouldn't have to do these things, but if you have to learn how to make things and do things for yourself because they're just trying to everything.
Okay, so everyone in the US is showing how their bread does not dissolve underwater and is pretty much rubber. I want to show you Australian bread underwater. All right. Straight away.
Mm-hmm. What are they supposed to do?
Got something today.
Oh my goodness.
That really pisses me off. I saw a video yesterday about our cheese that we get at the store. 90% of them all use a rennet that is made by Pfizer. So I decided to go down the rabbit hole and I looked into it, and sure as shit, Pfizer makes a bioengineered rennet.
She says sure
And
as
so
shit.
I was like, well, hopefully it's not the cheese I love. I love Tillamook cheese. Love it. We use it all the time. Sure shit. Right here. I Googled it. They use bioengineered rennet from Pfizer. And so in that video I saw yesterday, I mentioned if you're going to use cheese, make sure you get European cheese. So
cheese.
Now I've got to find a cheese that I like that's European and where to find it and how much is it. And I have so many questions and I am so pissed off. How do you feel about this? What cheese do you use? It doesn't use this crap.
How much
Just let me know in
macaroni
the
cheese
comments.
do you eat?
All right, let's take a break back from that. Let's hear from you guys. All right, so
Aundria been already telling us.
I've been dying over here.
Huh?
I've been dying over here. I'm like, where August get this from? Oh my goodness. That's the only bread I buy is Dave's bread.
Okay, I'm trying to let y'all know what's going on.
It's got a component in it that like spikes your sugar and stuff. And I learned this when I had a couple of master's levels nutrition classes. As I went through, I didn't realize like things, if it says enriched, I don't care how brown it is, it's white bread. You know what I'm saying? And then I seen a guy on TV, on a short the other day, and he was showing his wife's homemade bread molded, and he put the other bread that had been in the house for over a couple of weeks, and he put them next to each other, and he's like, this is covered in mold. This one ain't even started to mold yet. What's going on here? And I just keep seeing these videos, and I try to ignore them, especially when they involve chicken, because I love it. I'm a stereotype. But but I know exactly what you're talking about. The quality of everything is just very sus. It seems glued together, boneless.
Now, what is the chicken made of? What was that chicken, August?
Baby, I don't know. I'm trying to find out too, but I think it's genetically made. It's genetically made, and that's what is not good.
3D chicken.
Because 3D chicken, and especially when you get it out of a pack like that. Yeah, Sarah Lee sells a white bread, and I'm like, now how does that make sense, Sarah? I don't know, Jazz. I don't know, but I just have to bring this. Let's finish up with this video because they got a lot more to say.
Would love to know.
The fact that so many of us have both cans of corn in our pantry says that this change happened pretty recently. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me show you, because this has been making the rounds on social media and you might want to check your corn. I went through every can of Great Value that I have in there to see if any of them have this, and nothing has it except for the corn. And let me show you what they changed. Well, first of all, the calories doubled. Almost everything in the nutritional label doubled. So ingredients: corn, water, salt. corn, water, salt. But now it's a product of Thailand, and what everybody's talking about is the California warning label. Every Great Value can that I went through, this is only on the corn that comes from Thailand. So my best guess is that it's coming from the pesticides used in Thailand. They very specifically removed the "it's great for you," this little guy here. And if you go look up on their website, so you can pause and read, for them to put that icon on it, it has to meet all of this. And clearly the new cans do not, and they've got the California cancer warning on there. So there's that. So you might want to check your corn.
All right. Explain to me the weird world we live in with our food and where it comes from. So right here, I'm in Florida. It's my feed station. It's been here for 5 years. Taking a lot of deer off of it, a lot of critters. There's my stand down there. Call that the guard tower. Well, the church brought the fire station a bunch of fruits and vegetables and bread and stuff. And I noticed we had like literally cases of it. Now we're going to throw it away. I put this out 3 days ago. Got my camera right there. 3 days ago. There's tracks all back here. I just filled the corn up again. They came to eat here, whatever. In what world do wild animals not eat grapes and apples? Especially deer. Hogs, wild hogs. We have a ton of wild hogs here. Got pictures of them. They haven't touched it. That is strange to me. Not even a bird has eaten any of this.
Something wrong.
Nothing.
That's why I'm pausing it and letting you know. Something's wrong, folks. And we had a lot of people on, and like people have slowly been backing out. We're trying to educate you. We're trying to let you know. Check your food. Read your labels, because things are not what they seem. They're not. And you think
any kind of
cancer.
shredded cheese or anything like that, it's got little wood chips in it and stuff. So always chop and shred yourself if you can. So just, just a lot of bullcrap in food.
Apples don't have no label, but apple.
Yeah, but there could be pesticides involved in it.
They coat them.
Yep.
Remember, apples get coated, and they have some type of coating on it that the animals do not want.
And the average apple in a store, I did the research before, so I remember it. Average apple in a store, fruit or whatever, is 2 years old or more. They cryogenically freeze it, then they get it. That's why sometimes you get something home and you're like, this was green. Now it's rotten a day, 2 days later, because it's already starting to speed up. And what we eat is not technically what an apple. If you looked under a microscope, it doesn't look the same. And I've actually looked under a microscope and verified that.
I got to clap with you on that, Katie. If the animal is saying, hell no, we need to start thinking about that. I hope people are paying attention. It can't always be drama. But guess what? We're just getting started. We are just getting started.
I want to know
what if Pizza Rat came up on it and he drug it down to the Board of Health? Be out there like, Ratatouille.
Did you hear her?
Again, is the world laughing at us? That's the question tonight. The world seems like it's laughing at us. But guess what? Here's another one that is not a joke. Let's bring these angels up. Andrea got a story for you while I get her video. Andrea,
hang on.
No, this was Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, and this gentleman, I just call him a gentleman just because he's male, and his wife or his girlfriend, whatever, well, she had to be his wife. She asked for a divorce, and he took the news really hard. And instead of just going and finding somebody else, he decided to take everybody's life. And I thought they look adorable. They all look so adorable and cute. This was very sad. This was, what I found is I see more violence in our country than any other country in the world. All we do is fight from one state to another state. We fight, we cheat, we steal. I can't believe what this country has turned into.
Is the world laughing at us? And let's go
Louisiana
ahead and
police
play it.
say a gunman was targeting his own family when he opened fire over the weekend, killing 8 children. Authorities say the suspect killed 7 of his own children and one of their cousins, ranging from 3 to 11 years old. 2 women were also shot, including the gunman's wife, but they're expected to survive. At a press conference today, the Shreveport City Council chair had a direct message.
Domestic violence is nobody's joke. It is real, and these are the residual effects of what happens if we're not paying attention.
CBS News correspondent Jason Allen joins us now from Shreveport. Obviously, this is a horrific story. I know you've been reporting on it all day, but how do these events unfold with police ultimately shooting and killing the gunman?
Yeah, Lindsay, we've been out here. The memorial kind of been building in front of the house continues to be very busy here in the neighborhood with people wanting to come see this scene and drop off cars, memorabilia, talk to family. All the children were killed here at this house, but this is not where the shooting started. It was actually about a block or so away. That is where Elkins shot the mother of at least 3 of his children in the face. He told her at the time that her children were already dead. They weren't, because then he came here to this house. This is where he shot all 8 of those children, shot his wife. There was another woman and another girl who got away. Elkins, after that, went down to the corner, carjacked someone, led police on a chase to neighboring Bosher City. That's where he got out of the car and police shot and killed him. Just an overwhelming sequence of events. And just here in the last hour or so, I talked to the father of the one child that was not Elkins' child, a 10-year-old boy. Here's what the father had to tell me.
I'm never going to get to throw the football with him again. I'm never going to get to hear him say, Daddy, can I get this bag of chips? I'm never going to get to hear my nieces say, Gunkle, can I get a nana? Gunkle, you going to work? Gunkle, are you okay? I'm never going to hear that again.
Troy Brown's wife and daughter were the 2 who escaped. They were injured jumping off the roof to get away. They're being treated at the hospital, and they are expected to survive their injuries.
What motive have authorities come up with so far?
You know, authorities have talked about this as a domestic dispute. I talked today with Elkins' wife. One of the women Elkins shot her in the nose, in the face. He told her, you caused this. She doesn't know what that means. I've talked to several members of family on both sides. They say that it's possible that Elkins' wife had indicated that she wanted a divorce in recent days. And there may have even been some effort to finalize that request as soon as today. They also told me Elkins had struggled with mental health. He knew that he had sought treatment recently, that they had talked to him about it. Those seem to be the only indications that might offer any sort of answers as to why something this awful could happen. Lindsay?
So senseless. Jason Allen, thank you.
All right.
And my prayers go, out to the remaining family. And I wish we knew how to deal with stress. We don't seem to know how to deal with stress. We don't know to reach out.
And he had to be under stress. He's 31, 7 children, a girlfriend, and a wife. And I think there might be more kids that he had with somebody else. I'm not sure, but I'm just saying that's a lot. He's reaching out for mental health help. But this is the thing. He was honorably discharged, from what I know, from the military. He never saw combat, but he still went through training. We taught him how to kill, but his mental health on top of it, we got to be careful who we teach what to. And I know you can't predict behavior, but I feel like a lot of times, no matter what, we leave the ones that come back from combat hanging on their own. So we need to do a better job at the military level, as that's to especially take care of those people.
Where we want to increase our military spending to $1.6 trillion, we take away all of the food subsidies and early childhood development or prenatal treatment, senior care. We take away all the programs that would help our citizens just so we can go and kill other people. When we shot at another Iranian boat this weekend, they were not about to do any harm to us, but just in case, we wanted to shoot first. I don't know why he has this crazy notion that he always has to be the one to shoot first.
Well, we're going to get a little deeper into that notion, but let's just finish up this story with the 8 children. Yes, our hearts and prayers. I've been highlighting Angry Army Vet a lot because she could speak to this. She understands the mentality. Also, Anitra can speak on it as well from a medical perspective. But nevertheless, we all have to stop. If I can't have you, nobody else will. We got to stop that. You got to let people go. Okay. The sun will come out tomorrow. You understand? Tomorrow will come about. Sometimes you just got to release people and let them fly, and you just never know. But this mentality that we're dealing with, if I can't have you, nobody else will. We got to stop it. We have to. We have
and
to
then the
stop.
other thing is we have to stop. Women, I'm talking to you. I don't care what your race is or what's going on. When somebody tells you, and anybody, I should say, anybody in the situation, relationship, whatever, when somebody tells you who they are, like Maya Angelou said, you have to believe them. And don't say, well, that's my lover, or that's my child, or that's this person. They won't do that, what they say. Those are the people that are most likely, unfortunately, to do something. So we have a responsibility to listen and act, especially if there's children involved. And I'm not blaming anybody, but we've got to do better than this.
So I'm just saying, baby, I love you. But if I say I'm out, don't try to take me out. That means I'm
Deuces.
just stepping away for a minute. Deuces. We just need some time. That needs to happen. And you got to give people their time. You just never know. Maybe when they get that little time, they will miss you. They may say, you know what, you have been the best thing for me since sliced bread. But hell, if you can't let them drink water to even taste the bread, then come on. How they gonna miss you?
I remember crying over people. I can't remember their name now.
Sometimes the breakup is the blessing.
Exactly. Come on. Push through.
Breakup. And well, one thing I want to say is sometimes you don't get any notice. Sometimes people that are most quiet keep all their thoughts to themselves, and you don't even know they're going to act like that. You have no way of knowing.
No, I'm not saying you're going to act like that, but there are always signs. We just don't always see them. That's what I'm saying. We got to be alert to the signs, especially because people tell you, I see it all the time, and I look into people's business. There's not always clear signs. All of a sudden, everything's going good. That's a sign.
Well, what I find in the United States is we're always busy. We're always busy doing nothing. And some people, they don't even like talking on the telephone. They want to text everything. And sometimes I don't understand the text message. I'm like, was this a good message or a bad message? I don't know.
A lot of things get lost in translation.
We've lost communication. We don't communicate.
No, because we have our phones, and they think that apparatus is a part of communication. Let's talk about PTSD with veterans. Let's hear it. 60 minutes.
Last year, for the first time, the Veterans Administration announced it would begin funding its own clinical trials to treat post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and addiction using 2 psychedelic drugs, psilocybin and MDMA. Even if these trials are successful, it would be years before the VA could prescribe either drug for its patients. Thousands of veterans who are suffering aren't waiting. Desperate for help, they're attending psychedelic retreats in countries where the drugs are legal to use, mostly in indigenous ceremonies. This past March, we were invited to join 9 veterans who traveled to the west coast of Mexico for a psychedelic journey they hoped would finally help ease their pain.
The story will continue in a moment.
Well, while the story is trying to continue,
They
let's
came to
really.
Mexico from all
If you want to
over.
pause that for a second, I can tell you a little bit to give you a little heads up. I don't know how much is the video we're going to watch. We'll stop it here. But in recently, April the 18th, Donald Trump, our president, I guess, signed an executive order, and I know executive order is really a mere suggestion, but the stuff is already going, and that psilocybin, and it's called ibogaine, is being fast tracked. He has directed the HHS, the Department of Health and Human Services, to allocate $50 million to use the set aside to help match state funds as they start to go through this, and to basically escalate the situation to where people can let me look the word they used here, a path to creating right to try. This is what they're calling it. And so far, though, in the trials, I'll tell you a little bit about that after you see some of the stuff. People are having success, and we lose about 6,000 vets a year. And of course, if it works for them with the PTSD, substance abuse primarily, and resistant depression, the
So
problem
go
is there's a
ahead,
little
talk
bit of
about
side
it.
effects.
Go ahead and talk about it. They rather
Okay.
just hear from you.
Okay, so basically, what's going on is it can cause you to have basically neuroplasticity in your brain. So everybody's heard about people who take MDMA and stuff like that. There's something in there that stops the rigidity and is able to help people through guided doctor approved ways of using these things, and they're basically hallucinogenics. However, if you have any history of any family history of psych issues like schizophrenia, delusion, schizoaffective, bipolar 1, 2 with psychotic features, any of these things, then that's something you don't want to touch really because you might induce it. Also, it has heart arrhythmia. The ibogaine can hurt you with the heart. The other one is basically just just mushrooms, but they're speeding it up. They're going to go into, I think, like third trials, and they're going to just try to get it in there to help people. And I hope it helps. They just have to figure out where it's going to help, how to use it best, and to fund it. And so I'm hoping that that works for them. But the interesting thing is, I was wondering, why did he tackle this? Why would he just bring that up? And it was because Joe Rogan called him up and was like, "Hey man, this ibogaine is working in like all these people." And he was like, "Oh, really? You want me to get you to fast track it to the FDA?" So now he's directed, I have it written down here, I'll make sure I didn't miss it, the FDA to spread, to speed up the reviews. And then they want to coordinate with the the VA, HHS, who else? Oh, the DEA and the FDA all get together and share their research and different things and try to get it to where it works. When it does work, I will say it has about I believe it's at 80% success rate with the depression, and with the substance abuse and the PTSD, almost 87% success rate. And it's like it makes it manageable in different ways. And I'm not going to get into the details of it, but it's promising. It's a promising thing that it can use for everybody: child abuse, severe trauma, all those things. But we just have to learn more about it. And I'm glad that this is happening. But the reason why he's doing it is just, it's flippant. And he keeps spending
Right.
our money
He
any kind of
doesn't
way.
need. He doesn't need a reason as long as his buddies come to him. Oh, they got a good idea. Let me try it. I really
And
want
then
to
he made Joe
see that.
Rogan kiss the ring to do it.
Well, you know what? He's been kissing the ring. What else is new? But I noticed that because we're talking about mental health right now, I noticed our numbers went down. But for those of you that are still with us, please, we have a lot to say tonight, and there's a lot of information that you need to know and learn. So stay tuned, stick in here.
Well,
If you remember, please like and subscribe. Don't become a member, and also don't forget we have merch out there. So, I mean, please. What were
well,
you saying,
I
Andrea?
was laughing at Jazzy because she said Joe Rogan could fit in her pocket.
the one thing I don't want to forget to say is people don't realize that alcohol is a depressant. They think it brings you up, but it also takes you down and it makes you think real negative thoughts. And when you combine marijuana with it, for some reason, people get violent. I don't know why. I don't know about no testing or anything, but it seems like when they drinking and they get excessive alcohol in their system and they start smoking weed, next you know, this fight breaks out. So
a lot of it has to do with underlying already, it's coming out because the inhibitions are going away. And so now what they wanted to do is what they're doing now. They just couldn't do it before because they were too scared.
So be careful when you drink.
I just want to circle back to this. And Angry Army Vet, you're so spot on. You just never know. Sometimes there's no signs whatsoever. And you just never know. Some people snap at this point.
That's true.
It's when you realize you're dealing with a crazy person, because there's a fine line between sane and insane. And we all need to make sure that we acknowledge that. What you might be able to tolerate may be my breaking point. And it might take me over the edge, like disrespect or, people stepping on your toes. That's why these kids, it's very difficult for them to put their emotions in check. Sometimes you have to let them rage within a certain perspective. You have to bring them in and let them rage. Maybe take them into a room and let them break up stuff, but they need to release that rage so they won't release it on someone. And
they have a name for it. It's called the injustice keeper.
Yes, I'm well aware of it. But this is what I want to bring to you, because the rage continues. Do you think they're still laughing at us? Check out this story to transition.
This is the moment a simple request turned into a violent attack. 75-year-old Linda Scott knocked to the ground, kicked and beaten. Pix 11 News spoke exclusively to Scott from her hospital bed, and we were there when she returned home.
See, my tulips are coming up. It's the perfect time of year. It's what I live for every year.
She's still battered and bruised, but able to show us the garden she planted in the front yard of her home here on President Street in Crown Heights. A space she loves is surrounded by filth in this vacant adjacent lot.
It's a bathroom. It's used for people walking by. They got to go poop. There's no bathrooms in the city.
So you're even saying people, dogs, it doesn't matter?
Yeah. I've seen grown men get near the fence and pull down their pants and do what's necessary.
The lot is the center of controversy. Scott says for the last 10 years, she has been trying to get something done to stop people from dumping trash here, dog and human waste, just to name a few.
It's a free-for-all. You see the dog poo-poo bags there now.
What happened Monday, Scott admits to pouring ammonia in the lot earlier to keep the dogs away. But that only made things worse. It started as an argument, then it got physical.
We're not perfect. We're not perfect in life. And it was okay to discuss and argue with her. It was fine. I had no issues with that. And then the young lady just came and ran and sucker punched me.
While Scott is trying to heal, she believes this is bigger than her. It's a wake-up call about respect and how quickly anger can escalate to violence.
It's not right. It's not right. You're supposed to respect your elders. You're supposed to learn a little something from your elders.
You saw Miss Linda there getting emotional, talking about respect. She says she wants the person responsible held accountable. If you have any information on her whereabouts, you saw her in the piece, call Crime Stoppers. The number's right there. It's 800-577-TIPS.
All right, guys.
I used to take the time to talk to my kids all the time. We sit up and if they disagree with what I said, well, let me hear what you have to say about a particular subject. And they will go ahead. And if they made more sense, I think, than I did, I'd say, go ahead. It made sense to me. You have to be willing to listen to your children. old people know a lot of information. You need to respect elders. Now, if that lady thought something was wrong with her putting ammonia in that yard, she could have came and talked to her about it. But I just find that people don't interact with their neighbors. They close their doors. I don't even know if you know your neighbor's name. I've been here 8 months and I don't know my neighbors' names. We don't talk enough.
Well, I played this story because do you think the world is laughing at us? This is ridiculous. She is 75 years old, and all she's doing is trying to protect the filth that is piling up next to her house. And you're going to come and speak to her. Bad enough you disrespected her. Then you're going to hit her, a 75-year-old?
This is a whole generation of this. I see it everywhere. I see people talking to people. I work in healthcare, and I'll go in and I'll see somebody and I'll say, "Hi, Miss Such and Such," or "Hi, Miss Annie," or Miss Rachel, because they got a certain. My mama say, "Put a hat on that." And then I see the next girl who's 22 come in there and say, "Hey, Hattie." Ooh, make my blood boil. I said, "You need to say that lady Miss or something. Oh, she wants me to call her that. I don't care." And then the person will, and it just frustrates me. But it's not that. It's one thing if you started out that way and they say you don't have to do that, but you coming into it like that. And you're talking to people all kind of loose mouth or whatever. Now, I grew up in a place to where I spoke when I wasn't supposed to speak, and I got knocked out 3,000 times. But we were supposed to shut up and listen. And my mother was a little more lenient about listening and me talking back, but my grandma didn't play it. She'd knock you out cold. You're gonna get in trouble. But we taught respect. You don't walk in the house, you speak to everybody, you do what you're supposed to do, and then you come home and tell us and we'll handle it. But you don't hit no 75-year-old woman. Are you crazy? That's almost a murder attack.
But what's so funny is they still teach their kids to hate. They don't teach them to communicate successfully, but they teach them to hate different nationalities, people with different skin tones, people that have disabilities. Oh, look at them laughing at them. Look at them laughing at her. That's not funny.
But she hit her over a dog. And I hate to say this, people, and I love animals. I know they're your children and stuff. I don't think like that, but I understand that. But these are human beings. If you're treating your dog better than you're treating people, then you got a problem.
Thank you, Pink
I said
Fur.
that.
Thank you, Pink Fur. Respect to elders should be natural. And the young people, they don't give a flying freak.
It still has to be taught. If their parents are not teaching them to be respectful, usually they're not respectful. Usually the
Well, a lot of times the teacher called the parent and the parent come in like, "I'm about to check this bit." You know what I'm saying? And they do it in front of the kids, and that's part of the problem.
That's correct.
You may not agree, but you got to do it in a way that you don't empower the child to be disrespectful, but to take care of themselves as well. And there's a fine line, but you got to take time to do that. And like you said, you got to be present. And so many people aren't present right now because life is pulling us in so many different directions. And I think we're going to see an uptick in these kind of things. I know we're going to see an uptick in family annihilation because that's what that was yesterday. Sunday.
This is not normal, and I'm taking my hat off to her son because her son came out the door. The girl was still there. He didn't go and attack the girl. He went to his mom. So, I'm looking at the little glimmer of hope. At least her son didn't go and attack that girl because guess what? He would have been charged.
He would have.
Now, is the city going to try to charge her for the ammonia stuff? Because that's going to tick me off.
We don't know. This continues, and August is definitely on the move, I will bring you the other side of the story once we get it. But this is a growing trend that we need to make sure parents were checking. And guess what, young people? You can't talk to young people these days, especially Gen Z, because they be ready to pull out a gun and they want to shoot and this and that. But they fail to realize once you take someone's life, you can't get that life back.
That's right.
They're gone.
And again, that goes to example.
This is not a video game. It is not a video game. Guess what? You can't hit reset and that person come back. That's all I needed to say. Go ahead.
If you want respect, You have to give respect. You must be willing to respect people of any age. Children are people too.
I come from a small town of about 70-some thousand people, and I know several people that have died in shootings in that small town, either inadvertently or because somebody was being stupid. And I never have once heard an explanation for any of the shootings that should have ended in death. They shoot, you disrespect. That means I have to die. But this is my problem. And then everybody in the community, not community, but the families, they hold them up, they throwing parties, they got the shirt on, they go to jail, they come home, they celebrate that stuff. We got to stop celebrating bad behavior. We're gonna have to start celebrating. Celebrate your person, but then they went back to the bar where it happened at and did the celebration. What's that about? It's a murder scene. I understand. It just seems like things are weird in that, and it doesn't sit right with me. And maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems like we're celebrating a lot of things we shouldn't be celebrating, and not saying enough to, hey, let's not do that. And then when you do, some people got to wait till everybody gets on board to join you, instead of being that one voice that says, hey, this is not right.
I've seen kids, like they play and they be spitting at other people, or they be sticking their tongue out at them, or they say the bad, they'll repeat their parent from saying a bad word, and then the parents just laugh. And they laugh when they spitting at them. So
that stuff is not cute.
It's not. This stuff starts at home. It starts at home. And the way this world has gone is both parents have to be outside the homes working. And we leave the child rearing to the teachers. And that teacher does not have time to raise 30 kids in one class in an hour.
Hell, they slapping teachers. They trying to take teachers out. Look at the one that got stabbed.
Roundhouse kicking them.
I mean, it's ridiculous. These kids have lost their mind, and they better find it. They better find it quickly, because guess what? You're going to be punished for it. Wake up.
The only time I have good interactions
for it
with the youth is if they really like me, or some dude trying to flirt with me. Hey, Miss Lady, how you doing? I don't even Miss Lady me. Hi, ma'am. You like young dudes? That's about. Other than that, it's like, what's up? But people not even approaching. There's if you try to be nice to somebody now, they're like, oh, he a simp. He being nice to heifers. He being nice to women and all that. So a lot of that culture too, this manosphere thing, where I can't show. I got to be this and that. And we need the fathers and the mothers back in the home at some point, at some time, and have a balanced life. And that's the thing. And we're not getting it here in America, because people are laughing at us because we're supposed to have everything, and we're empty.
Well, I'm transitioning over to Miss Caitlyn Jenner. Go ahead, Andrea.
Caitlyn Jenner recently revealed that her renewed U.S. passport was issued with the male gender marker. Despite her years-long transitions and previous updates to her legal documents, this change follows a January 20th, 2025 executive order by President Donald Trump requiring federal identification to reflect biological sex at birth. Policy later upheld by the Supreme Court in November. Now, they know that if he said it, they was going to uphold it. So Jenner initially attempted to correct the marker through standard official channels, submitting her updated female birth certificate, but her request for a change back to F was denied. Well, that seems kind of funny to me. First of all, she said her original birth certificate said F, but she had she had a male part. So she went on to write a letter to Trump. While visiting Mar-a-Lago approximately 2 months ago, Jenner wrote a personal letter to the president explaining the safety factor and how the policy affects her and other transgender individuals. She handed the letter to a Secret Service agent to place on Trump's desk. No response as of mid-April 2026. Jenner stated she has received no response from the president. though she know that he is likely busy and that her marker may not be a top priority. You know, I don't have anything against transgender. You know, I think you should live and let live. And that's why, you know, you always see up for me, say live for you, you know, because I don't know how you feel inside. Just like we were saying, we don't know how angry people are really inside. I don't know if you feel like a male or a female, but Trump doesn't care about how you feel inside. Only person he cares how they feel is him.
I do believe, go ahead.
I don't even know if he knows how he feels inside.
Right. That's why he need to have some of that medicine he was talking about giving somebody else. I think so. This is my issue with, and I say issue, and this is where I think part of the divide is. So, as a medical professional, when you get into the male and versus female, non-binary, trans situation, there's certain things, I don't care what people say, we're taught to do for males and for females differently. Depending on, even if you have if you're post-op, we'll say, or post-operation, then you're still going to have core male or female part, you know, things you may be taking hormones. So there's certain things I'm gonna need to know, and I need to know where you started at. So I may only have that passport to tell me where we started at and what I can do for you and what I can't on top of it. So some of it is a social construct and some of it is a biological construct, and the two are not meshing well, in my opinion. And so what I see and what I feel versus what the body says and how you treat it seems to be the divide. I hope I said that well.
Again,
thanks, Jazzy.
I don't know how a person feels inside, and I don't know what makes a woman like another woman or a man like another man, you know, but why don't we just let people be?
Exactly. Let them be. Let them be. Because we have enough stuff that we are dealing with on our own.
We're trying to keep food on the table. That seems hard.
They ain't gonna do that. They too controlling for that.
And now August done put the food on the table that I don't want on the table no more.
I need to educate you guys on what's going on with our food.
And anybody eating boneless nuggets, boneless wings, that's chicken nuggets, people. Just so you know.
I know. There's no such thing as boneless chicken.
So let's transition, ladies, to another story that we have that is creeping up. Take it away, Andrea.
You know, I was reading the other day, and when I saw this, I said the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, is preparing banks to collect citizenship data. Why? The money's still green, whether, I'm a U.S. citizen or a Mexican citizen. To me, it doesn't matter. I just think people are too much in people's business. And I wanted to bring it to people's, for you to be aware of that they are giving out your information, not only at the Social Security Department. They want to do it at the voting booth. Now we want to get you at the bank. ICE is on the military bases now and arresting people. I don't know when this is going to stop. My son called me today and told me he needed to get some information for me. I said, I think that's too personal. He said, but they say they need it. They need it. Why they need all that information on me?
Nosy. Well, the thing is, they already got mine, and they're gonna get it whether you want it or not. But I'm saying all this stuff, they don't need all that. Why do you need to know that? You didn't ask Bernie Madoff where his money was coming from. You didn't do nothing to those people who did all in the housing crisis. They did all that lying. So get out of our business. But the Department of Consumer Affairs or whatever, they trying to take it down to like 70 people, so we can't get people to advocate for us. But that's a bunch of bull crap, and I think we should fight against it.
But Bessent told CNBC, Bessent told CNBC, if the Treasury and the banking regulators say it's their job, it's their job. So they're saying to us, we don't have no say so. That's where a lot of the anger comes from too is that we no longer have control over anything. This used to be a fair, well, not to us, it never was
They
fair.
made it look the least fair, but now we didn't see the curtain and
Feel
came
like
up.
it was fair, but it wasn't fair still, but it felt a little fairer, you know.
Seems like they tried. Then now they like, screw it. Let's just, who cares about them? Let's just screw them over.
They're gonna find the pandemic took a lot of lives. It took a lot of lives, and so we're short of people all over this world. Really, in China, they want them to have more children. In Mexico, all over the world, they need more children because they do need people to operate this country. I guess sometimes that's why I think about Star Trek, and we the next generation up in the spaceship, and then about 5 or 6 of them up there. What happened to the rest of the people? You've never thought what happened to the rest of the people?
I did. They talk about them every now and then. I'm like, something sus.
And that's what I said. I said, what's going to happen? So I don't know. And then they told Donald Trump to stop building his little ballroom. They said, but he can continue to build his bunker. Well, where are we going to stay when all the bombs go off from him messing with Iran?
You going to be right out here with the rest of everybody dying.
Let's see.
And that's the plan. You know, they don't care about us. We ain't nobody coming to save us, and we're going to be out here, and we're going to have to try to survive if we can, or we're going to have to go. And it'll be determined for us, most likely. And I hate to say, and people are stressed about that. They're stressed about the economy. They're stressed about all these changes and the fighting. And then they got to deal with their own lives and emotions. And we're going to see an uptake in domestic violence type stuff and people snapping out because, unfortunately, they can't take it. Most of them don't have health care, so they can't get help.
So I can't take my check to the bank because I'm not a legal citizen. And so then my family can't eat. You know, I can't feed my family. So what must I do?
No, you're going to get it. You're going to get it cash, but Rollo and them going to cash it, and they're going to take 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to pay them under the table with cash. And now you're not getting no kickbacks on the money.
Please, we have a poll up. So answer the poll. Let us know your thought. Do you think the world is laughing at us? Or, okay, the poll's answers are in. People feel that they are laughing at us. Thank you, everyone. Go ahead, Anitra.
No, I'm just saying, I really want people to, it's not even about the mental health. It is about mental health, but just check on people. Listen to what people say. Watch their actions and see if they're congruent with what they say and use your common sense. If your gut says something is wrong, then dang it, it's wrong because that's what a gut feeling is. Trust your instincts. You're going to have to go back to the 8 things, but trust your instincts and listen and try to be helpful. Check on people who are happy and sad.
So the problem is people are not listening to people. It keeps going back to the same problem. We keep telling them what will make a better society, and they don't believe it. Me talking to you and saying, I can't afford this 30% you're taking out of my check just because I'm not a U.S. citizen. I got to go to the sharks, and I can't afford it. I got 6 kids at home. He had 8. The whole story, the whole show been sad.
There ain't enough money short of the NBA or NFL or something major CEO. There's nobody can afford that many kids. So the stress of that makes me cringe. And then all the people that were staying, that was not a big house. There's a lot of people in that house. And it just makes me sick because it's just the whole thing. And then you trying to argue, you upset about a divorce, but you got a girlfriend you got to go shoot for. What?
The whole story crazy.
And then they said she's the mother of 3 of his kids, so that's what makes me think that there are 7 over there with this lady, but he has 3 with this other woman. But I don't know for sure. I was unable to find the information. But either way, and then he had to move around and show some intent, so he was fully able to. He was making decisions that he was aware of, and that's what makes me sick because there's legally insane and then there's you walking around jacking people and stuff. He knew what he was doing when he did it, and that's disgusting. And now the mothers are going to live and be trauma. Oh my God, I can't imagine.
But the police didn't wait and listen to why he did it and got his reasoning for us to understand.
They don't care. They don't care.
That's what I thought too. They didn't.
I know. I wish they could have saved me so he could answer another day.
Yeah, we don't never save the black or the brown where they can tell us what they were feeling.
No, they never do.
But they take I'm not being racist right now, but they took the white guy shooting in the church to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
He was hungry.
Dylan Roof.
Dylan Roof.
Wow.
I think it was the Burger King. I'm just trying to keep it all straight. But anyway, but it's just, I just don't understand that. And it's such certain things. America has always been kind of blatant with the things that they do. But I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to say this, and I thought about not saying this, and it's not nothing against somebody. It's not generally a black man that does these kind of crimes, which tells me there's been an uptick. I'm not saying we don't and never did it, but it tends to be a certain demographic in a certain age group. So I've been talking about this for a couple of years, telling people how stress this is going to cause a lot of people to snap out and try to like save their family, kind of like a John List kind of a situation. But when I realized he was black, I thought, man, things have really changed. I'm just saying there's certain things that are just the norms and the mores that used to go on. They're all gone. All the fail-safes are gone. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, how you do it. And so they used to make us think it was one person, what I'm saying, but it could be anybody. So just take care of yourselves. Please take care of yourselves.
I'm going to flip the script and let's go to another one of these. Do you think America is laughing at us?
Brittany, can you come in here?
Hi.
Congratulations, you are glowing.
Thanks.
So who do you think's the daddy?
One of 3 boys.
I think one of the 3 boys is a good guess.
I wasn't taken advantage of or anything. One's my age, 12 and a half. Other 2 are 12. Some people want me to give it away, but I kind of want to keep it.
I think that's smart.
You're the first one to say that.
You like crullers?
Sure.
Well, let's feast. You go find your 3 buddies. I got a whole dozen.
Really?
Yeah.
They'll love that.
Has anyone talked to you about the work that's involved with being a mother?
No, but I'm about to find out.
Well, you do have options.
Hey, Brittany, why don't you go over there and check out the lady on stilts?
Yeah.
Her story is my story. That baby is me.
She is a 12-year-old child, Mary Charles, that was never given any other options.
Brittany, this is not safe.
I'm a kid. I don't see a sign that says pregnant kids can't jump in here.
That is because we did not need a sign like that before today. Come on out of there.
Fine.
Matthew, Keith, why don't you 2 go out and play? Ling Sue, congratulations. Brittany, can you come?
So what do you think, guys?
I know, I'm still in shock.
I sometimes care for children, take care of children, pediatrics, and in wild situations like that. And let me tell you, it goes down. I didn't have them flirt with me.
She said she slept with 3 boys.
And she said it was her age, and that she did not get taken advantage of.
They were 12
years
old.
Taken advantage of.
And she had 3 different. They gonna know whose it is. That's the good thing.
Well, they do. That's why the 3 boys came to eat the crullers, and they gave them all a test. And the test came back that Ming Su is the father.
Ming Su, they're gonna have trouble with that. At the Ming Su house. I'm just saying Ming Su ain't gonna work out. It's gonna be rough. Y'all know it. Anybody out there say I'm being racist is lying, because I'm not. It's just gonna be a problem.
You were being racist. That just is true.
It's just gonna be like, who? It's gonna be. I would love to see that Lifetime movie, but the problem is it's not a Lifetime movie. It's just like when Tupac was doing Brenda Had a Baby and threw her in the trash and all the stuff she went through. It's the same old stuff, different day. And that's what frustrates me about this country. We not doing nothing to solve anything. All we doing is putting Band-Aids on everything. And it just keeps coming back. And so we got to deal with it and the new stuff and the old stuff and everything at the time. And I'm just tired.
I don't hear anybody saying they take their children to church no more either.
The problem with don't get me started. I'm gonna shut up on that. I'm hard on churches, so I'm just gonna put it like that.
Whatever your denomination is, whether you're a Jehovah's Witness or Church of Christ or Baptist.
Well, some people don't. The church has changed in itself. It's there for different reasons now.
We need parameters. These young people are not scared of anything. That's a problem. you got to be scared of something. Something is more powerful than you. The next man is more powerful than you. We got to pull our young people in. Listen up. These stories today is trying to get y'all to see America, you're being laughed at. We are being laughed at. Folks are laughing at us. Like I always say, our slips is hanging. Our boxer briefs are showing, man. We gotta like tighten this up.
50 Cent said, brothers wearing flags because the colors wash their clothes. You get caught in the wrong hood, they'll fill you with hoes. You got to be careful where you going. You mess around, be crip walking in the wrong hood, and some people don't know it, and they get to doing it, and they come up missing. And I mean that figuratively and literally. And I had to do a little hip hop spin for anybody that's not following that. Don't wear it. Don't go chasing waterfalls.
I mean, we have to talk to our kids, and even the good ones. They're being gunned down because they don't know how to get out of a situation.
They really don't.
They don't know.
And they're marks because they get taken advantage of by the ones who, like a lot of people think because I'm a certain way. I've been going through this for a lot of years. I speak a certain way sometime and stuff, and they think I can be taken advantage of. And I've had people try to do it, and then they find out. You better read my packet. But anyway, but I've seen it. And if you didn't know what to do, you would be caught up. But luckily, I learned, and I know how to do street. I got street sense and that. But a lot of people don't have both.
That's right. And the one thing what young men do is they wear their pants underneath their butt, and they don't realize where this came from. They don't realize that came out of the prison system to let somebody know that they do that. They okay with that. But everybody, you don't even know what you're representing.
I'm available. That's what it's saying. My butt is available to you.
I just don't understand the little skinny ones that go up to like a little above the knee, and then you got the pants on. Them don't even fit you.
That's a whole nother.
And then they be trying to run in the rain and they holding it up. I be cracking up. I'll pull over on the side and watch.
They don't understand the ramifications, what you're out here putting out there, that you're letting the next man know your butt is available.
That's right.
I'm just going to call a spade a spade. That's what it's all about. You have to wake up, people. Get a belt. Find one.
If you don't teach your kids, somebody else will.
Exactly.
I watched some shorts yesterday, and it was very important. I watched a little show about 30 minutes on YouTube, and they were talking about how decorum doesn't, people don't know how to dress anymore. And they were showing all these people at Disneyland with the booty popped out and all this stuff. And they're like, there's kids around church wearing different things. This girl was like, I'm funeral chic. And she was like doing a get ready with me for the funeral thing. And I was like, they don't have any respect for anything anymore. Nobody taught them. But I blame my generation, Gen X, because we were supposed to be the parents of some of these people. And I don't know what we didn't teach them, but we failed them. But the thing is, the girl showed up. The main thing was the girl showed up with some shorts to work for an interview. And she looked nice. It was like a sweater set, but the shorts were up above the mid-thigh. They weren't booty shorts, but they still were. They were nice shorts. And they told her, we understand you're young. We get it. Let's try this again tomorrow, but this time you don't wear those shorts. And she was like, if the shorts don't come, I don't come. So they told her to kick rocks. Now you ain't got no job because you wanted to wear some booty shorts or halter tops to work. And they were showing people at work. And the girl was coming to them. She's like, I'm from HR. You can't wear halter tops and see-through shirts to the job. And they don't get it. And I can't help them.
I think women, after they get to be a certain age or so, like if you're looking at the Housewives of Atlanta or something like that, and everybody want to show their breastises. And I'm like, I'm so tired of looking at your breasts. I don't know what to do with myself. Every Sunday, I don't have to watch the show. I just like the show. But I just think after a certain age, it don't look right.
Put them up. Look like you're baking bread. Are they done yet? 2 loaves? Is it enriched?
I don't know if nobody else thinks about it, but I just like, to me, it looks better. Steve Harvey say, leave something to the imagination.
I think you should be sex. I'm a woman. I was trained a little bit by my aunt. I shouldn't say trained, but brought up certain things you don't do, etiquettes, and I don't drink out of bottles and things like that. I'm just one of them people. But I push the limits for my age. I do, but I don't. But it's usually classy. I've never had anybody say nothing negative, and I think you can be sexy on top or sexy on the bottom. But if you sexy at the top and the bottom, you need to be on the pole
Somebody
with
else
some money.
watching something that said that you don't need both.
Well, tonight, in order for us, we need to just definitely anchor ourselves. Check this story out.
Okay.
Donald Trump has spent years telling us who belongs in this country and who doesn't. So let's talk about his family, shall we? Trump's grandfather was born Friedrich Trump in 1869 in Bavaria. Germany had mandatory military service. Friedrich was required to serve. Instead, he chose to escape the country altogether. He was 16. He bought a one-way ticket, boarded a ship, and sailed to America without completing his military service, without officially registering his departure, without doing a single thing he was legally required to do before leaving. Eventually, he made his way to the Pacific Northwest. Then he followed the gold rush into Canada. During the Klondike Gold Rush, he moved to Yukon and made his fortune operating a restaurant and brothel for miners in Whitehorse. The rooms had weighing scales in them, so miners could pay in gold dust for rendered services. The bulk of the cash flow came from the sale of liquor and sex, and that money got passed down. So when Friedrich had enough, he packed up his stuff and went back to Germany, got married, and tried to reclaim German citizenship and settle back home. Germany, however, said no. A local council letter from 1905 informed Friedrich that his citizenship would not be reinstated, and that he had 8 weeks to leave the country or be deported. The official reason? He had illegally left Germany to avoid military service. 20 years earlier, Germany deported him for being a draft dodger. Now, here's where history hands us something extraordinary. Friedrich Trump did not go quietly. This man wrote a letter to the Prince Regent of Bavaria, begging, and I mean begging, not to be sent away. He wrote, "We were confronted all at once, as if by lightning strike from fair skies, with news that the High State Royal Ministry has decided that we must leave our residence in the Kingdom of Bavaria. We were paralyzed with fright. Our happy family life was tarnished. My wife has been overcome by anxiety, and my lovely child has become sick. Why should we be deported? This is very, very hard for a family." And the prince rejected him. Friedrich left Germany on July 1st, 1905. His wife, 3 months pregnant with Donald Trump's father, Fred. Friedrich Trump, illegal immigrant, draft dodger, brothel operator, deportee, wrote a letter that said the deportation was cruel and unjust, and very, very hard for a family. His grandson has deported parents in front of their children, has signed orders removing people who had lived here for decades. He's called immigrants criminals. He's called them an infestation. If the Prince of Bavaria had said yes, if they had let Friedrich stay, Donald Trump would not exist. Not here, anyway. He's here because a deportee begged for mercy and got on a ship. He's here because this country let in an illegal immigrant who had broken the law, dodged a draft, and made his money however he could. He's here because of exactly the kind of person that he's trying to erase. Donald Trump.
August is on the move. All I have to say is that know your history, folks. I hope you picked that up. Thank you. Let's call out real quick. We got $5. Thank you for that $5. We doing it.
That's my first one.
Our first $5.
Let's raise
Well,
our
that's
glass.
so nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Duncan.
We really
thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank
And that story, I had to tell it because sometimes we don't know why people act the way they do. We don't know what is inherent. See, Trump feel he could do whatever he wanted to do because his grandpappy did it, his daddy did it, and now he has come to do it.
And his daddy was an anchor baby.
Then he should let freedom ring.
You would think, right? But no, he gone to the other extreme. Watch his sons. Keep your eyes open. Make sure you vote. And I'm going to do my round table. Let's go over to Andrea with our closing words.
Well, my closing words is, what's his son's name? Brandon? Barron? Oh, Barron. Barron, your time is up. You must serve. I think you must serve. You must serve.
Anitra?
Well, I'm gonna say I just discovered I had an epiphany when you were telling that story. Now we know where the problem came in. He knew his grandpa had a brothel with minors, but he didn't know they was gold miners. He thought it was the kids. And now
It all ties in.
it all ties up. Okay. Okay. They're bringing their best. They're bringing the greatest. They're bringing them all.
Well, your hands are bigger than his, though.
They are. I got man hands.
But
You got a doctor.
I hope our viewers learned something today. We definitely kind of layered it. Just know that we're being laughed at, but we can make that change. We can take ourselves serious. We can vote. We can take back our country and get rid of folks that are making us look like we're a joke. Okay? Excuse me?
Virginia voting today.
So Virginia, get out there. If you're listening, please make a change.
James, that's you.
All
no
right.
funnies tonight?
No funnies tonight. The only thing I have is these sweet angels, and we need to remember them. And I hope
I'm glad they all together.
I'm glad they are all together, and we just hope that you can just cover the mother. She's going to need it. She's going to need it.
There's some cute babies too.
They so beautiful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The lady in the duck boat that lost all her family members in the duck boat is from Indianapolis, Indiana. And her example of survival after she lost extended family and all her children and her husband all in that drowning. Those are two that really, that's just a lot of loss. So I'm praying for them and I'm praying for the city.
Mm-hmm.
So to my reporters out there, Angry Army Vet, and also Jazzy, thank you for joining us, Connie. So sweet to have you. Our veterans, Katie and Lori, good to see you. And our new member that gave us $5. We really appreciate the donation. Let me highlight you one more time. And guess what, Anitra? Read the comment. We really didn't read it. We were so happy to get the $5. So we really appreciate it. It
says, my coworker from South Africa immigrated to USA 36 years ago. His son is working for a machine shop. His daughter is an accountant in the oil field.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Say, won't God do it?
I was going to say, won't he do it? And
won't he do it?
Okay.
Won't he do it?
Thank you
we
so
love
much,
you guys.
sir.
Thanks for joining us. And we hope you come back. And if you want to, please check out our membership, our merch. We're here on Tuesdays, and also come back tomorrow. You'll have us. Thursday and Friday, we have the round table. Most of us may not be here at the round table, but we always love to have you. Thanks, everyone. Sending you hearts, love, kisses, and soul.
Okay.
Peace.
Soul Train.
We the people unite.